Hello, and welcome to You Don't Need 10. Welcome back if you've been here before. Welcome if you are new. If you are new, my name is Katie Wyman, and these are the audio recordings for the blog from youdon'tneed10.com. So every week on a Tuesday for a little over 3 years, there's been a new blog post that talks a little bit about what it's like being born limb different, being the parent, being part of the support system, or the mental health that goes along with all of it. So today we're going to do the audio recording for blog post number 166 that was posted to the youdon'tneed10.com website on November 12th of 2024. And it's called Auditions. So as much as Paisley loves to dance and loves dance, she doesn't love all the things involved with being on a competition dance team. Almost every dance convention and dance competition, and some of the practices and even some of the guest choreography sessions involve some improv situations or mock auditions. In all cases, they involve you thinking on your feet. In some cases, you make up the dance on the spot that you perform in front of the teachers. Sometimes you know the teachers or the judges, but a lot of times you do not. In some cases, you learn a dance together as a group and perform it in small groups over and over again, like a mini competition until there's a winner. Sometimes you make up dances and have a little dance off until there's a winner. Sometimes there is no winner, and it's just a time waster for space in between other things. The first time I ever saw one was Paisley's first pre-comp season, and it was at the Sydney Dance Competition. I didn't have a clue what it was, and I'm not sure that Paisley did either, but it seemed most of her team and friends were signing up to be in it and getting a number. So she followed suit. It was during a judge's break while they were taking a break and finishing tallying that particular round of competition. In that one, everyone learns the same dance together. They run it through a few times until everyone gets the gist, and then they break up into smaller groups and perform it in front of judges until there's a winner. Each round, they cut and cut until there's a winner. The winner typically gets an invitation to something, a special t-shirt, a scholarship, any number of items are a possibility at these. I don't think Paisley loved that first one, I can't remember, but she did it and made it a few rounds before she was cut. Since then, if given the opportunity to do them or not, she chooses not to participate in things like that. Sometimes her teachers make her do things like that, and I don't disagree that it makes for a more well-rounded dancer. Dancers typically have to perform with little notice and something unrehearsed, so I totally get it. I don't ever make her do things like this, but I don't mind when the studio makes her. She gets anxious and sometimes upset, and on days when things happen like that at the studio in regular dance class, she typically gets in the car crabby afterwards. A couple of weeks ago, she had a required dance competition in Bismarck. It's a one-day event. We usually go down Friday evening since she has to be there by 8:30, 8:45 a.m. Saturday. We usually leave Bismarck between 4:30 and 5:30 p.m. Saturday and get home that evening. Bismarck is a little over 3 hours from Williston, and it's a one-day convention, so it's pretty painless to attend that one. Every year, she's required to attend at least one dance convention. This Bismarck one is the one we always pick. It's so simple. This year, there were a few different ones to choose from, but this one was still the easiest for me, and a weekend that I was available, and still only one day long. Paisley hates them, hates the entire existence. She does fine while she's there, and typically she has a few teammates that are there, so she has some fun. The last couple of years, we've been able to meet up with my nieces, Paisley's cousins, which is great. This year, my sister-in-law and nephew's girlfriend were also available, and we all had a great dinner together Friday night. I typically drop Paisley off at the convention in the morning and go back to the hotel and work until I have to check out, and then run a couple of errands or shop or work in the car until it's over. I have to bring Paisley lunch, usually a little after noon, so I get to see her partway through. This time, I wanted to get on the road home a little earlier if I could, so when I brought her lunch, we discussed her leaving before the auditions. Of course, she wanted to, but I told her that I could be late for my other event that evening if need be. So if she was required to stay and do them, she was going to. She texted me that she didn't have to stay, that she had spoken to the studio owner and she was able to leave. Perfect. I could get on the road earlier and get back where I wanted to be on time. I also knew what it meant to my daughter to leave before the mock auditions. After I picked her up and we were making our way out of town, she was so relieved and so glad that she had been able to leave. She told me a bunch of things that I already knew about her feelings and then a few things that I didn't already know. I knew she hated them, and if I was her or in or her shoes or her body to be exact, I'd probably hate them as well. She said she hates having strangers stare at her and judge her on something she hasn't been able to fully rehearse and make perfect. She's a great dancer, but part of what makes her great is her confidence in what she's doing, and that confidence comes from getting to know the dances and practice them fully for weeks or months before she has to perform or compete them. She practices in classes multiple times a week for many weeks, and she also practices them at home on her own time. She puts forth effort into knowing them and hopefully not having any errors that could be attributed to her when the judges give their reports after competition. Something that she told me that I didn't already know was that when they have those dance-offs or mock auditions, she typically doesn't try and tries to get out in the first cut. She tries to get out. She doesn't want to be a part of it at all. That makes me sad. I wish she felt different and didn't stand in her own way because she could be great. But yet in the same turn, I get it. I get her position on these. She likes to fully prepare for things in all her life. She doesn't love surprises on her schedule or in her day. She plans ahead. She's an expert packer. She takes her time, does things right as often as she can. And when she auditions for something, she wants it to be her best, well-prepared effort, not improv and unplanned or unrehearsed. She wants to audition her best self. So thank you. That one was called Auditions. It was posted to the youdon'tneed10.com website on November 12th of 2024. Thank you for listening.